Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Metis Speaks. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today we're talking about something every writer needs, an arsenal of great books to help guide you on your writing journey. Whether you're just starting out or you've been writing for years, having the right resources at your fingertips can make all the difference. So in this episode, I'm sharing my top 7 books that every author should have on their shelf. These books have helped me in my career as a writer and book coach, and I think they'll be invaluable to you too. So let's dive in. The first book on my list is The Story Grid, What Good Editors Know by Sean Coyne. This book is an absolute must-have, especially if you're serious about storytelling structure. Coyne breaks down what makes a story work and, more importantly, what makes it fail. The Story Grid system helps you analyze your manuscript in a very objective way by looking at key elements like scenes, story beats, and character arcs. You can identify exactly where your plot is weak or dragging and where you need to add tension. For me, this book has been a game changer, especially when I'm trying to troubleshoot a manuscript that just isn't clicking. So if you've ever felt like something in your story wasn't working, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, the Story Grid will help you pinpoint those issues and fix them. Number 2, The Next Essential is a grammar and technical writing book. Personally, I recommend The Composition of Everyday Life, but honestly, any comprehensive grammar guide will do the trick. While we might not think about it often, clean, polished writing is the foundation of a good manuscript. This kind of book is useful for everything from ensuring your sentences are clear to making sure you're not overusing commas or underusing them. And, I know grammar can sometimes feel tedious, but it's a necessary part of the writing process. Being able to self-edit and correct your own work before sending it out to agents or editors can save you a lot of time and help your manuscript to stand out. Next up, number 3, a thesaurus and a dictionary, 2 tools that every writer should have close by. Now, I know we live in the age of the internet where you can just Google a word and find a definition or synonym in seconds, but there's something about having a physical thesaurus and dictionary that's really useful. Sometimes while flipping through the pages, you might stumble upon a word that's even better than the one you were originally looking for. Plus, when you're in the thick of writing and the words aren't flowing as easily, having a thesaurus nearby can spark new ideas or help you avoid repeating the same word too often. Language is the tool of a writer's trade, and these 2 books help you refine that tool. Number 4, here's one you might not have expected to appear on this list, a baby name book. Yes, you heard that right. I recommend having 1 or 2 baby name books on your shelf, and it's just not just any baby name books. You need ones that cover a variety of cultural names and their meanings. Those are the best. So why is this important for writers? Well, when you're creating characters, names matter. They carry meaning, not just in the literal sense, but also in how they sound, the cultural significance they might have, or the impression that they might leave with the reader. And when you're in the middle of writing and suddenly need a new name for a character, instead of spending hours trying to come up with something on the spot, you can flip through the baby name book. It'll save you time and also help you find names that match your character's personality, background, or even their destiny in the story. Book number 5. Next on the list is a book that covers symbolism or dream interpretation. Personally, I have the Dream Dictionary from A to Z by Teresa Schoen, which I love, but really any book that helps you understand symbols and imagery will work. Why is this important to writers? Well, because as authors, we often work with metaphors and symbolism to convey deeper meaning in our stories. Being able to tap into common symbols can enrich your writing and add layers that readers can pick up on, consciously or subconsciously. Whether you're writing about a character's dream or using symbols in your setting or plot, this kind of book can give you ideas for how to incorporate powerful imagery into your writing. Plus, honestly, it's just fun to flip through and see what different symbols represent in case you didn't know. All right, book number 6. Now, this one is more of a practical guide. The Writer's Little Helper by James B. Smith, Jr. This was actually one of my very first writing books that I had when I was younger, and I found it very helpful. This book is full of quick tips and tricks for writers to improve their craft. It covers everything from how to structure your story to advice on pacing, dialogue, and character development. What I love about this book is how actionable the advice is. You can pick it up, flip to any page, and get a nice little nugget of wisdom that you can apply to your writing right away. It's kind of like having a writing coach in your back pocket. Whether you're stuck on a scene or just want some inspiration, this book is a great one to have on hand. And finally, book number 7, perhaps the most important book on the list. Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. This book has become a staple in the writing community, and for a good reason. It's based on the popular screenwriting method developed by Blake Snyder, but Brody adapts it for novelists. The book lays out a clear, easy-to-follow structure that helps you map out your story beat by beat. Whether you're a plotter or a pantser, this book gives you a framework to make sure your story has momentum and emotional impact. As a writer, Save the Cat helps you think like a storyteller. It shows you how to keep readers engaged and emotionally invested in your characters from the first page to the last. Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. And Holly will tell you that I wouldn't even work with her until she had at least gone through the beats with me. Save the Cat is essential. Now, even if you're not a fan of rigid structure, this book can still help you refine your story and keep it from wandering off track. So, why are these 7 books so important for writers to have on their shelf? Well, each one offers something unique, whether it's the practical tips from the writer's little helper, the storytelling structure in Save the Cat, or the symbolism insights from the Dream Dictionary. These books equip you with the tools you need to tell better, more compelling stories. They can help you with the technical aspects of writing, but they also inspire creativity and help you dig deeper into your craft. And as you build your personal library, you'll find that each of these books supports a different part of the writing process, whether it's editing, brainstorming, or world building. So if you don't already have these on your shelf, I highly recommend adding them to your collection. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope this list has given you some new ideas for books to add to your writing toolbox. And if you want to see how I put these resources to use, be sure to check out my story on Kindle Vella. You can find it by searching for Elementals by S.C. Lauren, and make sure to hit that follow to stay updated with new episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nita Speaks. Remember, every writer's journey is unique, and having the right tools can help you navigate it with confidence. Until next time, this is Stephanie, encouraging you to keep writing, keep dreaming, and keep letting your creativity soar with Nita.
This is Adam Vanelli of the Columbus River Dragons, your home for River Dragons hockey in Noonan 99.
You're walking, shopping, or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you. What do you do to be prepared in today's world? Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in women's self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively. With technical drills to build their survival skills, you can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We are an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We are your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. www.insurewithellsworth.com, 770-755-7053. We look forward to meeting you soon.
Are you looking for a dog trainer with positive reinforcement to help you bond with your new furry friends, or to have customized training in your own home, or wonderful group classes? Check out Pits and Pals on their Facebook page. Rosemary has extensive certification in dog psychology, is an AKC certified evaluator, and Victoria Stillwell certified training team. Check out Pits and Pals Facebook for more information. Rosemary wants to remind you to adopt, don't shop. Save a life at Coweta County Shelter today.
Hank Arnold here from Coweta Force. Coweta Force is Newland's own addiction recovery support center. We exist to provide recovery support services for individuals and family members who have been impacted by addiction. Our services are no cost, and all of our information is available on our website at www.cowetaforce.org or follow us on Facebook.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Good morning and welcome to Empower Strike Back. I'm your host, HD Reese on WQEE The Key 99.1 FM. Welcome to this fabulous Monday. I want to thank all of our sponsors, Ellsworth Insurance, for your insurance needs. Keep that in mind before the next disaster comes through, like another hurricane, and Coweta Force for all they do in the community. Check them out on Facebook and their website because they have been doing some fabulous, really good community events, upbuilding the community today with everything that we go through. And then Pits and Pals Dog Training. If you're looking for a great dog trainer, check them out. She's AKC certified evaluator, along with being a Victoria Stillwell team member and a dog psychologist. So check them out today. The phone is ringing off the hook. So we're excited to hear that. But as well, Pits and Pals also sponsors Georgia Hearts and Homes Rescue over here in Newnan, Georgia. And they have a necessary need for dogs who are on the euthanasia list in the Coweta County Shelter. And we always want to share a dog that is in need for the Dog of the Week. But this week we have 4 little babies who are part of a court case that have been staying in the shelter for a while. And their names are Kasha, Kashmir, and then we have Freeway and Peso. And all of them are so sweet and adorable and loving and friendly to be the great dog to have in your house. So check them out, Kasha, Kashmir, Peso, and Freeway. And they're so cute. Check them out on Hearts and Homes Rescue or Coweta County Shelter Rescue. We have an amazing topic today that we're going to cover for Empower Strike Back. We are going to be doing a segment on human trafficking. This has been a topic that's a hot button in media lately, but it has always been around, unfortunately. A lot of my clients are very concerned with how frequently it's mentioned in the news. And in self-defense, how do we prepare ourselves to not be victimized by human trafficking, and what is it actually versus what we think it is? So a lot of times people don't really know the myths and the realities of human trafficking, the statistics and the warning signs, and there are warning signs that we need to look for. Did you know that 3.8 million adults are trafficked for forced exploitation? And 1.0 million children are trafficked for commercial use. Now, we have seen that in the news lately. We really don't realize how easy and quickly it can happen. And we have done a show on this station before, and it is on my YouTube as well at Warrior Defenders, about the Sound of Freedom movie. And that, if you have not seen it, you still need to see it. I've met people who have not seen it yet. It really tells a lot, and it is based on a true story. It talks about in there $99 billion industry, and it's only growing. It is surpassing the drug industry, right under the radar, because people don't want to talk about this subject. Human trafficking victims, there's 71% of them are women and girls. But 29% human trafficking victims are men and boys as well. So it's broad spectrum here. It's not just one or the other. It's everybody can be trafficked. $150 billion a year are made from forced labor in private economy. Human trafficking is not just about sexual trafficking. It is about your business. It is about being forced labor. It is about a whole bunch of other things. It is not just about one thing. People are used for a lot of things, and it's been compared to modern day slavery trade. 65% reported trafficking cases in 2021 were from online recruitment. Online. That is so much easier now because they can be anonymous. You cannot see their face. So, what are the myths and realities between what we know and what we don't know of human trafficking? Well, this is a myth. Only women and girls can be victims and survivors of sex trafficking. That's a myth. But the studies estimate that as many as half of the victims of trafficking and survivors are male. So we need to realize that. We need to protect everybody. What's another myth? It's always or usually a violent crime. No, that's a myth. In reality, most human traffickers use psychological means such as tricking, defrauding, manipulating, threatening victims, providing commercial labor, exploitive labor. So that's the reality of it. What's another one? Traffickers target victims they don't know. And this right here is a big one. Because in reality, many survivors have been trafficked by romantic partners and family members. And I have even heard stories from some of my clients in the classes where they've been set up by their friends, they thought were friends, to almost be taken away in a very bad situation, maybe at a club or at a concert or in the parking lots, especially in Atlanta. And those type of situations are very, very concerning because who are you supposed to be able to trust? So another myth is human trafficking only happens in illegal or underground industry. That is a myth. That's a big one. Human trafficking cases have been reported in industries including restaurants, cleaning services, construction, and more. And when we're talking about cleaning services and all of this, we have labor services that will bring in people from other countries that are not covering their payments. This is also under the title of trafficked labor. And a lot of people don't realize this. Another myth is human trafficking involves moving travelers and transporting a person across state and national borders. We always think about this. It's not in our country. But in reality, a crime of human trafficking doesn't require any movement of whatsoever. Survivors can be recruited and trafficked in their own hometowns and even in their own homes because they can be sought out online. And once that teenager or that person has been convinced that what they need to do is isolate themselves and go with the trafficker, not really knowing that it is trafficking. And then that can be in your own hometown. How many times have we seen the sting operations in Atlanta and in different counties and small towns where they never really realized it was there? And that's why people are getting so concerned about this. So red flags in situations so that you can be aware and educate your friends and family on what to do so you don't know somebody or you are not a victim of trafficking. So there's lots of different ways people can get involved with these traffickers. There's the Romeo guys, the Romeo pimps is what they call them. Those are the boyfriends who say everything that you ever wanted will happen if you listen to what they want to do. They shower you with gifts, take care of you, and then one night you go to a party where he tells you you have to be really nice and do something for one of their friends. That's how that starts. That's a friendship type situation. Then you have the family or familiar trafficking, where a mom has been in the prostitution for years and in the community, and then young people that she meets and supports her children, and then all of a sudden that rolls into a family line. Online trolling, They convince you to meet with them. They tell you everything will be great. That goes into the Romeo pimps. They tell you you can make this kind of money. Everybody wants to make money. You can go into that. Exploitation of addiction. So if you have a drug issue, they can tell you that you can get more if you do this. And of course, I'm going to put in there, if you need help with any type of addiction, please contact Coweta Force. They can help you with that here locally. If you're not here locally, contact somebody who has an organization who can help you through addiction so that you can get better. So there's red flags for sex trafficking. Forced to live in the same place as you work. That's a big one that people don't know about. Living in spaces that does not have running water, electricity. Little or no access to food. Not allowed to talk to anybody, especially the police or anybody that you've known or authority. You've been coached with prepared and practiced answers if somebody asks you a question. If someone's keeping your documents away from you, such as an ID or passport, that's a red flag. Trading sex for money, food, and a place to stay, that's a red flag. Encouraging in sexual acts of money against your will out of fear, red flag. You need to be aware of these. If you are in those situations, please go to somebody who can get you help. There are signs where you can hold your hands a certain way, and that says that you need help. Make that signal if you need it, and check that out on my TikTok channel and on YouTube as well. So examples of labor trafficking are migrants and immigrants for domestic work, where they bring them in and they don't pay them. They just give them a place to stay, and they're not in the best conditions. Domestic work in case of a marriage, where a man marries somebody, brings them over here, and then keeps them doing certain things for them here. That is also trafficking for labor. Fraudulent job offers, bringing people over saying they're going to be doing this job, and when they get to that job, that's not the job they were hired for, and then they're stuck. They're stuck. The red flags are feeling pressured by employers to stay in a job situation where you want to leave. Owe money to an employer that is impossible for you to pay back no matter how long that you work for them. Don't have control over your passport or identity and documents. This seems to be similar in both of those situations. Living and working in isolated and dangerous conditions, same, similar. Appear to be monitored by another person always. Being told who you can and cannot talk to, very similar, and being threatened by their boss on a regular basis so that you don't know what you can do and how to get away. And that is also part of just brainwashing and gaslighting, which goes in through domestic violence, and it's very similar with human trafficking as well. So how can you be prepared and protect yourself? Well, you definitely don't want to fall for any of those schemes that we talked about. But you also need to be aware that sometimes people are taken in a human trafficking situation. So you want to be able to fight back in case somebody tries to grab you, put you in their trunk, a creepy van, things like that. In my classes, we talk about abduction, and we go through the stress management, and we go through scenarios on how to prevent yourself from being taken away, how to fight back, have the knowledge, being able to fight that freeze or flight or get into the fight. If you are attacked and you are not planned through the stress management and trained for your mind, you will freeze. That makes you incapable of fighting back. So in our classes at Warrior Defenders, we go through these scenarios so that you can fight back and be tested in the classroom and not on the street. But you always want to have your personal protection with you. You want to have your pepper spray. You can have a Hear Me Out alarm, which is available at warriordefenders.com. That has a GPS tracker in it. It also makes a loud noise and a silent alarm that can send a location beacon to where you are. You want to have your strong arm bracelet with you, your power bracelet. You want to have some type of stun device with you. You also can have a whistle, or children can carry a body alarm as well. It's extremely useful for you. Those things right there will help layer your protection, but they won't be the only thing you can have with you. If you have all this stuff on one key ring, it's not going to do you any good. Pick one or two things that you carry with you that you're confident at using and keep them on you and layering throughout your house as well as in your car and on your person. So what do I mean by that? So these
these key rings, these defense key rings, and you buy like one key ring and it has like 12 things on it. Well, if you're walking around with all those things on it, you're not going to effectively be able to pull one of those devices and use them in a fight because they're all jumbled together. They don't have the freedom to move, which restricts your freedom to move as well. So you want to make sure that your stun device, if that's what you have on your key ring, that's what you use. If you have your pepper spray on your key ring, that's what you use. If you have a striking tool on there, use that. But don't put everything together. First of all, that really weighs everything down, and all it does is turn your key ring into something you can swing at somebody's head, because it's not going to be useful for you to use each item separately. And on my YouTube channel at Warrior Defenders, there's different layers and different videos where it shows you how to layer your protection effectively. Please don't go out there and waste your money on these defense key rings that are loaded down with all these things and think you're supposed to carry that all together. Learn and be educated on the knowledge of your self-defense tools, along with the knowledge of not to be married to them, so that every time you are out in public and you might have one of those items, but what if you were to drop it in a combat situation? Then you would be like, what do I do next? So you really have to learn how to use self-defense along with self-defense tools to keep yourself safe from everything, including the human trafficking points. So what did we learn today about this? We learned that there's myths and realities. We learned that there is so many things that could be titled as human trafficking. We learned that it could be a forced labor. It could be a bad marriage proposal. It can be online for your kids. It could be that Romeo that decides to win you over, and then you're stuck. That also goes into the line of another form, and that you've seen in some movies, called the Stockholm Syndrome, where you just don't see that you're actually trapped. If you're being hurt or you're being held against your will, you are trapped. Make no mistake of that. We also learned that men and women can be trafficked, and that includes labor as well. And then we learned that this is a surpassing business, further than drugs. That's not talked about enough. It is really not talked about enough. And recently in the classes that I've been dealing with at private classes and group classes and seminars, the question has come up a lot because of what's in the media. And that is really, really helping us build an awareness of this exists in every small, big town, everywhere. This is not a United States problem. This is not a one country problem. This is not a Mexico problem. This is a worldwide problem that needs to be addressed. And we need to bring these people out so that we know, hey, that's not a good situation. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm going to tell my friend who's getting involved in that this is a bad situation. We need to make sure that we're educating everybody around us on how to avoid being put in these traps, because it's not like what they think it is. It's not a huge organization that's coming in and taking people away in mass droves. It's not that. There's been situations in our town where there has been a described circumstance where women have said, this happened to me at one of the major chain stores. This happened to me at the electronics store. This is what I dealt with. What was this? And they trusted their instincts and got away. But the way they've described those situations that they were in, that was a trafficking situation right there. It's not always where somebody sets you up to take you away. Not always, as we learned today. But if you feel like your instincts are coming in and somebody's watching you, you need to go get help. You need to go to customer service. You need to turn around. You need to get with your friend maybe that's in the store that you got disconnected from. You need to get out of that location. You need to have security if it's there. Walk you to your car. And make sure you're not followed when you get home. Go a different way, because they can still follow you home too. And that's a scary, scary topic. And that's where we go into the home invasion prevention and how can you secure your home. So all of this is so related to each other.
when it comes to trafficking, when it comes to self-defense, when it comes to making sure your children know what to do in case they're in a situation, domestic violence, assault, all of it relates back to being aware of your surroundings, trusting your instincts, being prepared, knowing what the signs are, and learning how to defend yourself. And you don't have to be a certain age or skill level to know how to defend yourself. You can defend yourself from all of this from ages 6 to age 96. The style that I teach is NDDT. It's a mix of Krav Maga, Korean Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, Muay Thai, Wing Chun, and street fight survival. And that can be used for everybody. And everybody has the right to know how to defend themselves at any age. We know how to defend ourselves against trafficking. We know how to defend ourselves against assault. And we can move forward and know that we can be empowered to learn something today to have a safer tomorrow. For the month of October, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And that is a big deal for me, as a survivor, to be able to share that and bring awareness to domestic violence and stop the silence that we keep behind closed doors. Check out warriordefenders.com, because every year I do a fundraiser for the domestic violence shelter locally in the area. I would love to help them get what they need, as funding is very restricted from their area for the nonprofits, even in that topic of domestic violence. And they need a lot of things to be able to shelter and regroup these women and children and families that need help. So check out warriordefenders.com for the warrior ribbons that are coming up. We're going to have some fabulous shows in October, talking to a lot of survivors, sharing stories, mine along with others, and encouraging words for people who might be in that situation. Thank you for joining me today at Empower Strike Back on 99.1 FM WQEE The Key. Look forward to talking with you again next time, and learn today to have a safer tomorrow and be your own hero.